And before wrapping up, or as a wrap-up, we would like just to propose a clinical case, and I will hand over to Teresa, who will propose this clinical case. Teresa?
Thank you, Gilles. So we want to challenge you a bit with everything that you have learned today. So we're proposing the following clinical case. First, you have to know that meningoblastoma is an embryonal tumor that only occurs in children, predominantly at the age of 5 to 10 years. Standard of care frontline treatment includes surgery, combination chemo, and radiotherapy, and it achieves a 5-year survival rate of 55%. However, rescue therapy after relapse is not well established, and it has a very poor prognosis with a 5-year survival of less than 10%. You should also know that GRU is a gene that is mutated in up to 25% of all non-small cell lung cancer patients. So this is an exciting target that is being currently investigated by several pharma companies. GRU is additionally a driver gene that is mutated in up to 78% of all meningoblastoma patients. So there is one company in particular, Nefario Pharmaceuticals, that has developed a GRU inhibitor called grunitinib, and this has already been successfully explored in clinical trials, the most recent one finalized as a phase 2 trial. So this company, Nefario Pharmaceuticals, wants to apply for market authorization with this indication, so for lung cancer patients, adult patients, both at the FDA and the EMA. So with all of this in mind, we have a few questions for you. The first one is whether you think that grunitinib should be investigated for the treatment of meningoblastoma. Do you think, no, meningoblastoma already has a well-established frontline treatment with high survival rates? No, the minimum cost-effectiveness standards are not met to develop this drug in meningoblastoma? No, grunitinib does not need to be investigated for this indication, so it should be used in children with meningoblastoma right away, off-label. Or yes, this is a potential indication that should be explored, beginning with a first-in-child clinical trial. So what do you think? You have 10 seconds to answer. Perfect. Let's see the results. Well, this is excellent. As you see, most of you replied what we wanted you to reply, which is, yes, this is a potential indication that should be explored in the frame of clinical trials in children as well. Okay, so we move on to the next question. We want to imagine, for you to imagine that you are the company owning the compound. So you are part of Nefario Pharmaceuticals. In that case, what regulatory process would be mandatory for you to submit in the USA under the RACE Act? Would you need to submit an IPSP, a PPSR, a waiver, a PIP, or none of them are actually mandatory? You have again 10 seconds.
Okay, yes, you are right. Under RACE, because the target is substantially relevant for meningoblastoma, there is a need to submit before, at the end of phase 2 in adults, the pediatric investigation plan, an IPSP, for evaluation by the FDA. The PPSR is not mandatory. The waiver is not relevant. PIP is not in the US.
Perfect. So we have a third and last question for you about this clinical case, which is similar as the last one, but for the EU. So what will need to be granted at the time of filing in adults in the EU? Would you need to be granted an IPSP, a PPSR, a waiver, a PIP, or none of them are actually mandatory? You have, again, 10 seconds and you can answer. There's multiple answers possible in this question. Excellent, thank you.
Well, thank you, Teresa. The situation is a little bit more complex in Europe. Under the current regulation, a drug can still be waived if the disease in children is not the same as in adults. Article 11b. So a company can voluntarily submit a pediatric investigation plan. They are not mandated, but they can do it voluntarily. On the other hand, they can still ask for a waiver. A waiver will be a specific waiver due to the modification of the class waiver list, but the company could still ask for a waiver. And this is why we hope that the revision will clarify the situation and say, well, the target is relevant for pediatric malignancies, the drug should be developed in children.